Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Hitakiri Singh, and these are the top 10 tips that I feel like every longsword main should know. There's certain things with frame delays that cause situations where some moves are just terrible to do, and in other situations, some moves are the only thing you want to do. I'm not going to go over a lot of the basics of the longsword, like how to get into red gauge or how to perform a helm breaker, those kind of things. I'm going to assume you know the basics of the weapon, how it functions, and how to do some of the moves. Although there are some moves that aren't very prevalent that I will go over, and we'll go over some things like the timing of your ISS and how to set up foresight slashes and much more. Some details about focus strikes and just tips that most people don't really realize. And this is going to create a situation where you're going to be able to perform and look like these longsword gods you see on YouTube. It's not too difficult. It takes a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of timing and a little bit of practice, and you can go out there and look like Peppo or anybody else that you want to. So sit back, relax. I'm trying to keep this concise. It's going to be about a 12-minute video or so, and let's see what we can do with the longsword to make ourselves godlike anime supreme beings. Because of input delays built into many moves for the longsword, certain moves are just absolutely useless to do pretty much all the time, except in certain conditions. And your primary example is your overhead slash. Until you get to red gauge, this move is absolutely useless. The combo behind it is absolutely useless. There's no point to it, primarily because of this input delay. What happens is I press the button now, and there's a few frames of inactivity before the animation actually begins to do the move. So that's why this move looks like it's slow as molasses. There's actually an input delay from the moment you press the button and it actually comes out. Alternatively, in any situation you might think to do triangle, you always want to do your R1 Spirit Blade 1. There is no input delay, so the moment you press it, it actually begins the animation, and it does more damage. 61.1, 78.9, not even in the same spot. It's going to be a higher damage option. So until you get to red gauge, never touch your standard triangle overhead slash button. It's completely useless. Always use R2 Spirit Blade 1 instead. This is even more important when your weapon is sheathed. When you do the triangle overhead smash, you have the small input delay. What's even worse is you actually have a neutral triangle input that just takes out your weapon. That can happen accidentally. And there's just never been a situation where I've ever been looking to unsheath and not attack in the same motion. So just keep that in mind between your overhead slash and your Spirit Blade 1. So Longsword 101 dictates that you get to red gauge as quickly as possible, and of course there's several combos that do that, but once you get experience with the weapon, you never want to use a combo. You want to do one of two things. We want to learn to, air quotes, get good with our Foresight Slash. And you're going to do this up till red gauge with this sequence. Your Spirit Blade 1 and your thrust, because they loop together, and at any point you can stop and do a Foresight Slash. See? Or anywhere else in this sequence. Let's just act like I'm in red gauge. And you can always foresight out of any of those options. It's wonderful. If you hold a forward directional input during your foresight slash, you will move backwards. If you hold a backwards directional input on your foresight slash, you will move forwards. If you hold a right input, you'll go left. And if you hold a left input, you will go right. It's the opposite cardinal direction. The easiest way for me to remember this, and which made sense for me at least, was to just think of it as which direction do I want to end up, you know? So I want to end up back towards the monster in that situation. And most of the times when you're in front of a monster, you kind of want to end up either back in front of them or to the right or to the left. So just try to play with those mechanics because they come in really handy. Other move to get into red gauge is your ISS, and this is another move that has the delay. Try to make that click pretty loud to the microphone. Let's try it again. The moment I click it is a small 6-frame delay before it actually performs the animation. The best advice I ever received on how to time an ISS is as follows, and that's to play chicken with the monster. The game of chicken is played by two people running at each other until one person moves out of the way, and you kind of get into your stance and wait for the monster to move towards you. Once I see any movement towards me, like anytime there's a rear up, I wait, and as soon as I see a motion go towards me, that's when I activate my ISS. You want to be super anime with it. Alright, the Longsword has the Aerial Spirit Blade Draw, and this move has a couple of properties that you really want to know. First of all, if you have no meter, see how in my bar it's yellow, but I don't have any gauge. If I do this move out of a run, I can't do the follow-up. I can just do the move. However, if it does land, I can do the follow-up even if I have no meter. You get the follow-up with the meter. As long as you have even the tiniest amount of meter, now you can do this move, not hit it, and still do the follow-up and get your meter. It just gives you more range. You just don't have to worry about it. As long as you have a sliver, you can do the follow-up. So with the extended version of this move, you can actually instantly go into it as well. All you have to do is do a roll and press your run button and instantly launch your move afterwards, and it's going to go like this. Into the extension, and you got your meter. So even at a standstill, all you have to do is go into a roll, press your run button during that, and then instantly go into the attack. During your roll, if you're holding down run, the game instantly figures you're running, I suppose. Instant. Right there. Follow up, follow up. It's beautiful. I love doing this. Once you are in red gauge, when you use your spirit charge and you cancel into Spirit Blade 1, 2, 3, or hold it all the way to the roundhouse, every single one of those moves now has hyper armor, and you can use that to proc counter strike or reproc it, or just get out of a sticky situation. It's quite wonderful. It does not work for your regular Spirit Blade 1, 2, or 3 if you're not doing it out of the charge, but during the charge you can actually see during the animation these light ups happen on you that kind of signify. It's a very similar light up to the Perfect Rush, and it works quite similarly as well. So keep that in mind. It's a good way to kind of time it when you have it fully charged to be able to proc it whenever you want to, get your red gauge, all that kind of stuff, get some high damage with the follow-up. It's really nice to be able to control that with that hold. Is your Crimson Slash 1 and your Spirit Blade 1 both have 4 directional inputs, and this is going to be really handy for repositioning, especially during your combo that you're trying to accomplish. And there's also a little bit of a rhythm game to this. Spirit Blade 1 into Crimson Slash 1, Spirit Blade 1, Crimson Slash 1. But you can loop it into a little bit of a faster fashion if you get it into a little bit of a rhythm. And it's basically, once you're doing your Spirit Blade 1, you want to already be inputting your directions or your inputs for Crimson Slash and vice versa. And they will come out as quickly as possible. And I'm just going to try to overlap these sequences so they come out as quickly as possible. I'm already hitting the other one's input when the animation is occurring. So you're just trying to keep that into the quickest loop as possible. And just do the other button press. Do your Crimson Slash 1 during the animation of your Spirit Blade 1 as quickly as possible, and vice versa. And you keep that up, and you'll do a really nice rhythm to get the highest DPS you possibly can in this situation. Now let's talk about the Longsword's coolest little tech, the Special Sheath Cancel. And that's going to be really useful after moves like the ISS, because there's not much options you have on what to do afterwards. And this is really, really easy, guys. All you got to do is to remember, when you do this, for example, when you do it out of an ISS, just press and hold R2, don't let go, and as soon as you move again, that's when you're going to press X to go into your special sheath. If you start mashing, let's say you start hitting X before you start moving again, you register that X and you just never go into your spirit charge. So when you do your ISS, press R2 and hold it. As soon as you move, then you press X again and you go right into your special sheath. Alternatively, if you want to do the Foresight, same thing. Press and hold, wait, move, and then go into your Foresight. It'll work every single time. It's not even a timing thing, guys. All you got to do, once again, is just wait till you actually move for the charge and then do whatever you want to do afterwards, and it'll work every single time. Every single time. Never use your neutral focus strike. Always use the left or right or backwards version. When you perform a focus strike, you always want to aim your secondary hit to hit any other part of the monster. If this is successful, then however many wounds that you destroy will have a secondary damage pop that's correlated to the hit zone value of the secondary part that you hit. It's a little complex. I'll link a video at the end of this. It's called How to Maximize Focus Strikes to get huge triple digit damage values. It'll be at the end of this video. And this is the opener I'm using from now on out. It works on every monster. You do your sneak attack into your spirit charge with the roundhouse, and you're going to do a Foresight Slash on the scream to get adrenaline rush, and then you're going to ISS and try to get counter strike. You don't have to worry about trying to get into special sheath to ISS the roar. That doesn't work on some monsters, but this works on every single monster. You do your sneak attack, you get your first gauge here, you do 1 or 2 circles depending on the monster, you Foresight the roar, get your adrenaline rush going here, and I actually fail in getting, I successfully did the ISS, but I didn't get my counter-strike procced. Usually I get my counter-strike procced right there, and within seconds of the fight, I have all my burst is already active, everything is already active. I fail a couple more times, so I just decided to take this hit to get my counter strike. And then what I generally do is, do your normal red gauge fighting. You're going to do your R2 triangles. I was setting up my mount for later by doing that aerial right there. ISS, do whatever you normally do, and then adrenaline rush wears off, and now my priority is the next thing I want to do is just Foresight Slash something. And when you're in red gauge, triangle, R2, you can Foresight out of any. Thanks for joining me again today. I hope you enjoyed the video. On the horizon, we have a couple of interesting things coming up. Just today, somebody asked me to build an ultimate poison build with Foray, just for the fun of it, and I love the idea. And if you have any other requests for videos that you'd like to see, or any information or techniques or anything like that you'd like to know more about, please add that into the comments. I love using that as fuel and inspiration for new videos. Reginald, we will have the mounting video being worked on very soon. She asked for a video about the optimal way to mount and open up wounds and do the wall bang and everything like that. Please join our Discord. Zero Faints is our squad. The link is in the description. If you're looking for passionate monster hunters to hunt with, that's where you want to be. We make an emphasis of having respect for each other, and we're here to game. Thanks for your time. Have a wonderful day, and see ya.